here today with a book haul, and I just want to start this video with a very quick disclaimer because I recognise that there has been a lot of talk on BookTube and on BookTwitter and probably also on Bookstagram about BookTube consumerism, and I don't want to get embroiled in all the drama, like that's not what this channel is about, but I do just want to say I buy books because I love it. I realise that there are libraries, and I have a really great library. In fact, I have access to quite a few great libraries near me, but I don't know, I just enjoy buying books. It is really enjoyable for me. It's something that I like to do. I can afford to do it, and I realise that I'm very privileged to be able to afford to buy all of these books, and that's it really. I do it because I like to do it. It's something that I enjoy. This is in no way whatsoever me showing off about all the books that I've bought. That's not what this is about. This is to give you maybe an idea of something that you might like to read if you've not read it, or we can discuss it down below if you have. So that's where I'm going to leave that, and I'm going to jump right into it. So first up, I bought the Full Metal Alchemist bind-up of volumes 1 to 3 by Hiromu Arakawa. I have to look because I'm never going to remember that name. This is an anime series. Anime series? No. Anime is TV and film. This is a manga series that follows two brothers who are alchemists, and something went horribly wrong when they tried to use alchemy to bring their mother back from the dead, and it resulted in one of them losing a leg and the other one losing his whole body. So the one that was missing a leg gave up his arm in order to put his brother's soul in a suit of armour, and now they are both set on trying to find a way to restore themselves. I picked this up on the recommendation of Elliot from her. She did a whole Full Metal Alchemist video, so I guess I'll link that down below or up in the cards, or it'll be linked somewhere. I recommend that you check it out because it definitely made me want to pick this one up, and I'm glad I did. I've only read volume 1, but so far I am enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to continuing on. The next book, or books, that I got were the sequels in the 3 Dark Crowns series. So in my last haul video I bought 3 Dark Crowns by Kendall Blake, and since then I have read that book, and so I bought, oh these are in the wrong order, then I bought 1 Dark Throne, The Queens of Fenburn and 2 Dark Reigns, which are the next books in this series. I have read 1 Dark Throne, I have read The Queens of Fenburn, and I am halfway through reading 2 Dark Reigns. So you see what I mean. I always read the books that I buy. I'm not going to talk about what these books are about because of course they are sequels and I don't want to give you any spoilers, but 3 Dark Crowns is about the island of Fenburn and its queens, and every generation 3 sisters, triplets, are born, and they live together and are raised by their midwife until the age of 6, at which point they are separated and sent to live with the clans that correspond to their type of magic, whether it be elemental, poisoner, naturalist, war, or seer, oracle. And they are raised by those clans because the way that the next Queen of Fenburn is chosen is by one of the sisters prevailing and killing her 2 other sisters after they reach the age of 16. I have spoken about this series in my November wrap-up video, which is already up, so I'll link that up above. It's a slow burn series. It's written in the 3rd person but present tense narrative with not so much internal narrative, so you don't get quite so much character growth, and it's nowhere near as brutal as the synopsis would suggest, so bear all of those things in mind. Still good books, still recommend. I've just been finding it a little bit more difficult to get through them, just because those things don't necessarily mesh too well with my own personal reading preferences, but I am still engaged enough that I do want to know what happens to these sisters. So bear all of that in mind. The next book that I bought was Thunderhead by Neil Shusterman, which is the second book in the Arc of the Scythe series. I finished, well, in my last haul again, I bought Scythe and I read it, finished it, loved it, so I picked up Thunderhead because I couldn't possibly wait. In fact, I'm pretty sure I ordered this before I'd even finished Scythe because it was so good. This series is set in a utopian future of the human race where all forms of death have been eradicated, and now the only way that people can die is by being gleaned by a scythe. And the scythedom is plagued by politics because there is a level of disagreement about how gleaning should be done. And it's fantastic. I've done a full Scythe and Thunderhead review, which I will link. I also did a spoilery chat in case you have read them and want to hear my unfettered opinion about them. Spoilers, I love them. They're amazing books. Please read them. Next up, I have got The Wizards of Once by Cresta Cowell. I heard about this book on, I believe, Reagan's channel, Peruse Project, and I was intrigued. Don't know too much about it, don't necessarily want to. It's a middle grade book. I think it's aimed at 8 to 12-year-olds, if you're in the UK like me, and I really want to read it. I'll read you the blurb. Once there was magic. This is the story of a young boy wizard and a young girl warrior brought up as enemies, but have they been so busy fighting that an ancient evil has returned unnoticed? And that is all I know about it, and it's all I want to know. Next up, we have Nevermore, The Trials of Morrigan Crow by Jessica Townsend. Again, this is a book that I heard about on Reagan from Peruse Project's channel, and it's again another middle grade book, 8 to 12 years. And again, I don't know too much about it other than the fact that Reagan really, really enjoyed it, and I tend to have pretty similar reading taste to her. So that's all I really want to know. Again, the blurb reads, "Step boldly. Morrigan Crow is cursed, destined to die on her 11th birthday. But as the clock strikes midnight, she's whisked away by a remarkable man called Jupiter North and taken to the secret city of Nevermore. There she's invited to join the wondrous society. Mystery, magic and protection are hers if she can only pass 4 impossible trials using an exceptional talent, which she doesn't have." Again, don't know any more than that. Don't really want to. Sounds intriguing. I absolutely love a tournament trope. I'm going to go into this not expecting the tournament trope, and then if it happens, even better. Next up, we have Skyward by Brandon Sanderson, which I actually got 2 copies of this month. I pre-ordered this book before it came out because it's a Brandon Sanderson book and I desperately wanted to read it, and also Elliot Brooks was doing a buddy read over on her channel for the month of November of this book, which I was super excited about participating in, so I pre-ordered this. And I did have my suspicions that the Fairy Loot box would contain a copy of Skyward as well, but I wasn't sure and I wanted to go ahead and read it, so I picked it up, and then lo and behold, the Fairy Loot box of November was in fact containing Skyward, which is just here with its beautiful yellow sprayed edges on my shelf. I don't mind having 2 copies of it whatsoever. It's a really, really good book. It follows Spencer, who desperately wants to join the Air Force and attend pilot school to help join the human race in their fight against the Krell, who are attacking the human population who are living underground on this planet to keep themselves safe. But Spencer's dream of joining pilot school and becoming a member of the Air Force is going to be a little bit more tricky than it might first appear, because her father was in the Air Force, but he defected and was shot down for his trouble because, you don't abandon post in the middle of the most epic battle that there ever was. And so Spencer and her whole family, father included, are branded as cowards, and so the chances of her being accepted to pilot school are slim to none. But Spencer is determined, and when she finds something in a hidden cavern, things might just turn around. And I'm leaving it there. Very, very mysterious, but that's because you should read it. It's incredible. Next up, bit of a weird inclusion. Cat Poems by the World's Greatest Poets. I haven't read this. Whether or not I will remains to be seen. I'm not a massive poetry reader, but the reason that I didn't actually buy this book, I was gifted this book by my partner Lee, because this was compiled and sold by a charity here in London called Feline Friends, who rescue cats and kittens generally in the London area and put them into foster homes and eventually hopefully adopt them out. And this was put together in aid of National Black Cat Day, which was on Halloween, and Feline Friends actually dedicated that day to Heath, which was mine and Lee's cat, who sadly passed away just over a month ago now. He had FIV, which is the feline version of HIV, and he developed a bone marrow tumour, and because of his FIV there was nothing we could do, and we had rescued him from Feline Friends just over a year and a half ago, and we miss him terribly, and Lee bought me this to remember him because the proceeds of sale go to support the charity, which I'll leave their details down below. If you're interested, please do check them out, and if you are looking to have a cat in your life, whether it be from Feline Friends or someone else, I would urge you, please, please rescue, adopt. There are so many cats in shelters that need loving homes, and you could save a life by adopting a cat. So, or a dog, or a small animal, anything really. If you want a pet, rescue, don't buy. Preach over. Moving on. Next up, I have this book. Now, I went on holiday to Amsterdam, and in Amsterdam there's this bookshop called the American Book Centre, and they had this really interesting concept in there where they wrap up these books in brown paper and just put labels on the front saying roughly what that book is about. So this one says fantasy, exile suddenly made emperor, Byzantine court, assassination plot, and you buy the book not knowing what the book actually is, just knowing these few things about it. So I was intrigued by that concept, so naturally I picked one up. It's not expensive, €10, that's like what, £8? It's fine. So the book that I got was The Goblin Emperor by Catherine Addison, and I'll just read you the blurb because of course I don't really know much about this book. A half-goblin, the youngest son of the emperor, has lived his entire life in exile, far from the imperial court and the intrigue that surrounds it. But then his father and 3 half-brothers, who are the heirs to the throne ahead of him, die together in an airship crash. Maya is summoned to take his father's throne. For Maya, life in the capital is a bewildering and exhausting daily test of his mettle, and before long he discovers his father and half-brother's deaths were no accident. The airship was tampered with. The crash was murder. With no friends, no advisors, and no schooling in the art of court politics, the only thing Maya knows for certain is that whoever was behind the assassination must still be plotting an attempt on his life. Which sounds great, and I never would have heard of this book otherwise, so I'm really glad that I picked this up. I don't know when I'm going to get around to reading it, because I'm currently finishing 2 Dark Reigns, and after that I'm going to be reading the Grisha trilogy as part of the read-along that Readwithcindy is hosting on her channel. I'll link that below. So I don't know when I'm going to get to this, but it sounds intriguing and I'm really looking forward to picking it up. And finally, sorry, epic haul here, I have this book and I'm going to open it on camera. I do know what this is. This isn't like a surprise book or anything, but I left it packaged up because this I bought in Amsterdam as well. And look how cute. They wrap your books for you. So nice. Why don't they do that in the UK? They totally should. Like, totally. I actually bought a Christmas present from there as well. And they wrapped that in like, not, this is just their standard wrapping paper, but they wrapped it in Christmas wrapping paper. It's one less thing for me to wrap, and I'm useless at wrapping things, so win. Anyway, this book is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, but in Dutch. And look at this cover. So pretty. I have decided that what I want to do is I want to buy a copy of a book in the Harry Potter series from each country that I visit as a souvenir from that country, because you know, you can buy magnets or, you know, junk that's going to get shoved in a drawer, or you could buy a book which is going to sit on your shelf and be loved forever, or at least that's the way I look at it. So no, I'm never going to actually read this copy, and the reason I started with Prisoner of Azkaban was, one, because it's my favourite book in the Harry Potter series, and so I thought I'll kick it off with my favourite, and two, I actually liked this cover better than the other covers that they had. I think they only had the Philosopher's Stone and Goblet of Fire alongside this one on their shelf, but this was just my favourite cover from the ones that they had, and so I picked it up. €10, not bad. Really pleased to have this on my shelf, really pleased and excited to start this collection, not least because it means that I'll have been travelling and then I'll be able to remember every trip I go on based on the Harry Potter book that I have on my shelf. And that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and want to see more like this from me, do think about hitting that subscribe button. I'd be so grateful, and I hope to see you here again soon. Thanks!